All right, let's get into this. When I say the word genius, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's probably someone from a movie, solving some impossible equation on a giant chalkboard. Well, today we're going to peel back that Hollywood myth and look at the real, and honestly, surprisingly quiet habits of people with super high IQs. And this, right here, just nails the difference, doesn't it? We imagine this flashy, incredible mental math. But the reality? It's usually a lot more subtle. It's someone who looks like they've completely zoned out, when really, their mind is firing on all cylinders, running at 1,000 miles an hour. So let's really move past that stereotype. See, true intelligence isn't always about what you can see on the outside. It's about the internal wiring. Those quiet, underlying processes that shape how someone thinks and sees the world around them. What's so fascinating is that a lot of these individuals just blend in. They might seem a bit absent-minded, maybe even distracted, and their day-to-day habits, they're not going to look all that impressive. But if you know what you're looking for, these little behaviors show you a mind that's running on a totally different operating system. Okay, first up, let's explore their inner world. This first batch of habits is all about how these minds engage with their own thoughts, often in ways that, from the outside, just look like they're not doing much at all. For a lot of us, right, deep thinking can feel like a real chore. But for them, it's the default setting. It's actually a form of entertainment. Their mind is just constantly exploring connections, replaying conversations, analyzing ideas, not because it has to, but because it genuinely finds it fun. And all that deep thinking, it needs space. This is a big reason why so many highly intelligent people really genuinely enjoy being alone. It's not that they're antisocial, it's about needing that silence so their most interesting, creative thoughts can actually come to the surface without any distractions. For them, solitude is basically a playground. Now here's one of the, let's say, less glamorous side effects of all that brain power: overthinking. A super simple everyday task can suddenly become incredibly complex because the brain just naturally simulates all the different possibilities. Take something as simple as sending a message. The first thing their brain does is question the delivery itself. Is this tone coming across the right way? Is it too casual? Wait, is it too formal? And then boom, it immediately jumps to all the possible negative outcomes. What if they read into it? What if they take this the completely wrong way? And just like that, their brain has run simulations for 14 different social outcomes, and that message, it's still sitting there in the drafts. So yeah, this amazing ability to analyze can sometimes lead to complete paralysis. So this unique way of processing things doesn't just affect their inner world, it totally changes how they interact with outside information, how they handle uncertainty, and how they deal with one of the toughest things for most people: being wrong. And this is where something that looks like a weakness is actually a massive strength. For a highly intelligent person, changing your mind isn't being inconsistent, it's just being honest. They're not attached to being right, they're attached to having the best possible understanding. New info comes in, the old idea goes out. Simple. There's actually a term for this. Psychologists call it cognitive flexibility. It's basically the engine of learning. It's the ability to update your mental software when a better version is available, instead of just stubbornly running on an old, outdated operating system. Their brain is basically a natural pattern matching machine, and this lets them spot tiny little details and inconsistencies that most of us just miss completely. It's an amazing skill for solving problems, but it can also be a little bit of a curse, like when they realize halfway through a story that their friend has contradicted themselves 3 times. This leads to a really important habit. They're comfortable living in the gray areas. While a lot of people rush to find a simple black and white answer, a highly intelligent person has no problem sitting with ambiguity. They understand that saying "I don't know yet" isn't a failure. It's the real starting point for any genuine discovery. Which brings us to our final set of habits. And these are all about the engine that drives this entire way of thinking. Just a relentless, unstoppable sense of curiosity. There's a quote from the source material that just captures this perfectly. While most of us look at a complex problem and feel overwhelmed, their brain lights up. It doesn't see a threat, it sees a puzzle that's just begging to be solved, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. Well, this need for mental puzzles means they get bored really, really easily. As soon as something becomes predictable, their interest just vanishes. This mental restlessness is what pushes them to go down these rabbit holes, leading them to get this incredibly deep knowledge about all kinds of random things, from ancient civilizations to astrophysics to, why octopuses are so darn smart. And this might be the most defining habit of all. For them, learning isn't a chore you do to get a grade or a promotion. It's a fundamental need, like breathing. It's just deeply satisfying. The world is like this infinite building full of doors, and for them, the greatest joy in life is just getting to open the next one. But it is so important to remember that this isn't all just some effortless superpower. Having a brain that's wired this way, it definitely comes with its own unique set of challenges. It's a real double-edged sword. At the end of the day, high intelligence does not automatically make your life easier. In fact, that same amazing mind can lead to real struggles, with crippling overthinking, that constant feeling of restlessness, and sometimes just feeling totally out of sync with the people around you. And that really gets to the heart of the paradox. On the one hand, thinking this way makes the world this endlessly fascinating place, just full of puzzles and patterns to explore. But on the other hand, man, can it be exhausting, especially when your brain decides it wants to analyze the meaning of life at 3 in the morning when you're just trying to get some sleep. So, it leaves us with this final question to think about. Is this kind of intelligence a pure gift? Is it a heavy challenge? Or is it, as it really seems to be, a fascinating and really complicated mix of both? Something to chew on.